The Death Penalty, an in depth analysis exploring historical context, modern implications, and contemporary debates. Historical overview of the death penalty. The death penalty, or capital punishment, has a complex history marked by evolving laws and societal attitudes. Understanding its origins reveals a transformation in approaches to justice and punishment over the centuries. Definition of the death penalty. The death penalty refers to executing a person as punishment for a crime deemed severe enough to warrant such an action. It encompasses various methods of execution and is considered one of the most controversial forms of punishment in judicial systems worldwide. The Code of Hammurabi. Dating back to around 1754 BC, the Code of Hammurabi is recognized as the first written legal code and introduced the concept of state sanctioned capital punishment. It allowed execution for 25 crimes, including adultery, showing a stark contrast in how murder was viewed during that period. Evolution in Britain, 10th century execution methods. In Britain during the 10th century, hanging became the predominant method of execution. This period significantly influenced the adoption of capital punishment practices in the United States, mimicking British legal traditions as they evolved. The first execution in the United States. The first known execution in what is now the United States occurred in Jamestown, Virginia in 1608. Captain George Kendall was executed for being a spy for Spain, marking the beginning of capital punishment in American history. Changes in execution practices 1836 and on. After 1836, many states in the U.S. shifted from public executions to private ones held in prisons. This change reflected growing concerns about public morality and the spectacle associated with capital punishment. Decline and resurgence of the death penalty. Between the 1830s and 1920s, the death penalty experienced fluctuating public support, with many states banning then reinstating it. The crimes punishable by death transitioned mainly to murder and treason during this era. Supreme Court decisions and their impact. The Supreme Court has played a crucial role in shaping the applications of the death penalty in the United States landmark cases, including Furman v. Georgia, have led to significant shifts in legality and public perception. Reinstatement and modern methods. Lethal injection. After a brief hiatus, the death penalty was reinstated in 1976 with updated methods like lethal injection, which became the preferred execution method due to perceived human qualities despite ongoing ethical debates. State specific laws, California case study. California's approach to capital punishment has seen numerous changes since its enforcement in 1872, including frequent moratoriums. Governor Newsom signed an order instituting a moratorium in 2019, representing the ongoing debate within the state. Contemporary debates on capital punishment. The death penalty remains a continuous issue reflecting deep societal divides regarding justice, morality, and efficiency. Contemporary debates probe rationality, demographics, and the evolving perspectives surrounding capital punishment. Rationality and justice in the death penalty. Capital punishment raises questions about its rational foundation and moral justice. Critics argue that it fails to deter crime effectively, instead of disproportionately affecting marginalized communities, highlighting systemic inequities within the judicial system. Gender dynamics in victimization and sentencing. Gender plays a significant role in capital punishment debates, particularly concerning the victim's sex. Studies reveal biases toward female victims, impacting jury decision making and societal reaction in capital cases. Political influences on capital punishment. Political dynamics significantly shape policies on capital punishment, often influenced by electoral cycles. Newly elected officials may exhibit heightened urgency in committing to death sentencing, reflecting broader societal attitudes. Examination of modern execution methods. Modern execution methods have evolved, yet their humanness remains a continuous issue. Innovations like lethal injection are scrutinized, with critics aimed at potential malpractice and emotional toll on participants. Prospects for abolition. Current arguments. Arguments for the abolition of the death penalty have gained traction, citing issues like wrongful conviction and the ineffectiveness of deterrence. Growing movements advocate for alternatives focused on rehabilitation rather than retribution. Implications for the criminal justice system. The death penalty evokes significant implications within the criminal justice system, particularly regarding execution methods, rehabilitation efforts, and legislative trends. It raises critical questions about ethics, efficacy, and broader social justifications. Execution methods and humanism. Modern execution methods like lethal injection are intended to minimize suffering, but issues of competency and recklessness can lead to botched procedures. This often raises ethical concerns about whether the death penalty can even be administered humanely. Technological advances and injustices. Despite advancements in forensic science and technology, the justice system will exhibit flaws that can lead to wrongful convictions and capital sentences. These technological inequities underscore persistent issues of bias in administration of justice. High security prisons and alternative sentencing. High security prisons focus on confinement rather than capital punishment, offering a space for the rehabilitation of inmates. Alternative sentencing options like life imprisonment without parole, are increasingly considered humane and just. Non execution alternatives in practice. Alternatives to capital punishment, such as life imprisonment and restorative justice programs, are gaining traction. These options focus on rehabilitation and community safety, challenging the necessity of the death penalty. Reform movements and activism. Activism against the death penalty has intensified, with numerous organizations advocating for abolishment. Grassroots movements play a crucial role in shaping policies and influencing public perception of capital punishment. Future of the death penalty in the U.S. The future of capital punishment in the United States remains uncertain, with many states reconsidering its role. Influences include shifts in public attitudes, legal challenges, and the movement toward criminal justice reform. Case studies and global perspectives. Examining the death penalty through specific cases and global frameworks reveals the complexities and evolving attitudes toward capital punishment worldwide. Insights into legal, cultural, and political influence illustrates its continuous nature across different societies. Analysis of specific cases. Case studies like the wrongful execution of Cameron Todd Willingham in Texas illustrate the flaws within the justice system. The response to such cases often leads to calls for reform and abolition of capital punishment, emphasizing the importance of accuracy in legal proceedings. Global trends in capital punishment. The global trend shows a gradual decrease in countries practicing the death penalty. As of 2021, over 100 countries have abolished it, reflecting a shift towards human rights considerations and alternative sentencing methods, particularly in Europe. Deterrence effectiveness. Studies question the effectiveness of the death penalty as deterrent to crime. Research shows that murder rates are often similar in states with and without capital punishment, suggesting that its effectiveness is largely overstated. International case comparisons. Countries like Japan and the United States maintain capital punishment, juxtaposed against nations like Canada and Australia that have abolished it. Comparisons of these legal frameworks highlights cultural and political differences in their approach to justice and punishment. Sociocultural influences. Culture perceptions shape attitudes toward capital punishment with factors such as media portrayal influencing public opinion. Societal norms and historical context play roles in determining the acceptance or rejection of the death penalty in various regions. Impact of religion. Religion significantly influences views on capital punishment, with doctrines advocating for forgiveness conflicting with retributive justice. This dichotomy shapes public opinion and policy decisions in many religiously affiliated societies. International treaties. Numerous international treaties advocate for the abolition of the death penalty, including the Second Optional Protocol to the ICCPR. These treaties are reflecting consensus among many states regarding human rights and the value of life. Future prospects. The future of capital punishment appears increasingly uncertain as public opinion shifts towards abolition. Technological advancements and societal changes may reshape the landscapes of criminal justice, prompting reevaluation of traditional sentencing methods. References